Hey, River Life Church, it's Colin, the Associate Pastor, and I'm glad to be with you this morning. I'm going to continue where Pang had left off in talking about experiencing a new normal in light of all these adjustments that we faced because of COVID-19. I know I've experienced adjustments and I've had to establish new normals to maintain a sense of harmony in my life. And one particular area that I want to focus on are family dynamics, because those have been crucial areas where I've experienced some tension. With all the time that I've had because of COVID-19, with my schedule and routine looking a little different, I've experienced it positively and negatively. Positive in the sense that I have more time with family. I get to spend more time with the people that I love. And then at the same time, I've also experienced these adjustments negatively, because having to adjust creates room for frustration, for stress, for uncertainty to show up. And sometimes my family has had to take the brunt of that. They've had to be the ones who receive, my frustration, my stress, my grumpiness, because they just happen to be there. And so harmony and family relationships have been huge in finding a new normal. And today I want us to take a look in the Bible to help us establish some guidelines so that we can establish and maintain harmony in our family during these times that are ever changing. But before we do, I want to check in to see how you and your family are doing. And by family, I mean, what that means to you. It could be your immediate family, your extended family, the people that you live with, the kids that are in your household, the people that you share space with. So how have you been doing? What have you noticed about harmony in your life? And have you had to make any adjustments to maintain harmony during these times? What's been helpful? If you got any helpful tips, leave a comment below so that we can try it too. Or maybe it still feels chaotic and you're not sure what to do. Regardless of where we're at, I want us to ground us in some biblical truth so that, whatever the situation, whether it's COVID-19 or another crisis that we'll experience in our life or just everyday life, I want us to ground us in some biblical truth so that we can establish harmony, especially in our family when we don't feel it. So today I'm going to be reading from Ephesians chapter 4, verse 1 through 4, and this is what it says. Therefore I, a prisoner for serving the Lord, beg you to lead a life worthy of your calling, for you have been called by God. Always be humble and gentle, be patient with each other, making allowance for each other's faults because of your love. Make every effort to keep yourselves united in the Spirit, binding yourself together with peace. For there is one body, one Spirit, just as you've been called to one glorious hope for the future. Now, I think this passage speaks volumes on what it's like to experience harmony. I mean, notice verse 2, it talks about being humble, being gentle, being patient with each other, allowing each other to make faults because of your love. And then verse 3, it talks about being united, binding yourselves together with peace. I think this is great, and to better understand it, I think we have to understand a little bit of context. And plus, in verse 1 of this passage here, Paul uses the word therefore, which is a really crucial word in the Bible, because whenever therefore is used, it tells us that we have to understand all the stuff that happened prior so that we can understand the reason why this point is being made. So let's understand what's happening before this to understand how we can establish harmony in our family. Now, there's two major themes in the book of Ephesians. The first theme is this: Jesus restores us to be in right relationship with Him, with Jesus, and God. And when we experience right relationship with Jesus and God, it leads us to the second theme, which is this: Jesus unites everyone to Himself and to each other now and for eternity. Now, in light of these two themes, Paul encourages believers to live lives that reflect what Jesus has done. And Paul wrote to this church in hopes that they would continue to grow in their faith so that they can better understand God's purpose and appreciate that God's ultimate desire is to bring everyone to be together. God's desire is for everyone to be in harmony. You see, Paul reminds the church in Ephesus that God has always loved them, and God has always planned to redeem us through Jesus Christ so that we can experience harmony with God and with each other. So when we understand God's plan and what Jesus has done for us, we see in this passage that it leads us to be humble, gentle, patient, forgiving of others' faults, and united by the Holy Spirit with peace. And understanding all that context, that the work Jesus did for us is so that we can experience harmony with each other, is crucial. Don't you think a little bit more of humbleness, gentleness, patience is needed in our current situations where we experience tension? You see, when we understand what Jesus has done for us, it can also pour into other relationships like our families. And Paul talks about this specifically in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 21 through chapter 6, verse 4. He talks about how this practically looks like in a family, and it invites each family members to voluntarily submit or honor one another so that they can experience harmony. The main idea of the passage is this: we can experience harmony in our families when we ground ourselves in understanding what Jesus has done for us. Let me say that again. We can experience harmony in our families when we ground ourselves in understanding what Jesus has done for us. You see, God has always loved us, and His plan was to save us so that we can be in relationship with Him and others, so that we can experience harmony together. In times like this, it might feel hard to be grounded in something because everything is shifting. But we can trust that harmony is found when we ground ourselves in what Jesus has done for us. We might be impatient, we might be grumpier, we might be frustrated with each other during this time. But harmony can be found when we ground ourselves in what Jesus has done for us. You see, we get to experience humbleness, gentleness, patience, forgiving others' faults, because harmony is found when we ground ourselves in what Jesus has done for us. So what does this mean for you? What does it mean to ground yourself in what Jesus has done? Could it mean spending some more time with God to remind you of God's plan and love for you? Could that mean being in prayer or reading the Bible? What do you think it would mean to find some time to ground yourself in Jesus so that we can experience harmony? And imagine what that can mean for all of us, the impact that we can make if our world could experience harmony during a time of tension. Imagine the impact that we can make if our world can experience harmony when everything is chaotic. And imagine if they realize that this harmony is found in God. And imagine if they also grounded themselves in God to experience this harmony. Think, isn't this what God's plan and purpose is for us? And how exciting that is for us to get a chance to join in on that? How amazing is that? And so be grounded in what Jesus has done for us so that we can experience harmony. Blessings to you all.